Welcome to this rapid-fire review of the UK Highway Code. Across the next few minutes, you'll hear 307 crystal-clear, bite-sized rules, each one trimmed to the essentials, ready for everyday action. Whether you walk, ride, or drive, lock in these summaries to stay safe, legal, and confident on Britain's roads. Pedestrians should use pavements and footways where provided, staying alert, away from the curb. Pedestrians without a pavement must walk facing traffic and single file on narrow roads. Pedestrians should wear bright daywear and reflective nightwear to increase visibility to drivers. Pedestrians must keep children between themselves and traffic, firmly holding young hands. Large pedestrian groups should keep left, post high-vis lookouts, and carry front-rear lights at night. Pedestrians must never enter motorways or slip roads except during genuine emergencies. Children must learn the green cross code: stop, look, listen, and think before crossing. Pedestrians already on a junction crossing have priority over traffic turning into the road. Pedestrians should only cross safety barrier roads through designated gaps, never climbing barriers. Visually impaired pedestrians use tactile paving as warning of crossings, steps, or potential hazards. Pedestrians must check traffic flow before crossing one-way streets or bus lanes. Pedestrians should take special care crossing cycle or bus lanes where traffic may approach quickly. On shared paths, pedestrians keep to their side and remain alert for approaching cyclists. Pedestrians should avoid crossing between parked vehicles unless clear views both directions exist. Pedestrians must never cross behind reversing vehicles displaying white lights or warning alarms. Pedestrians must not hitch rides on or hold moving vehicles under any circumstances. At night, pedestrians should cross near bright street lighting for maximum driver visibility. Pedestrians must wait until all approaching traffic stops before stepping onto any pedestrian crossing. At zebra crossings, pedestrians cross only when vehicles have completely stopped in both directions. On zebra crossings with refuge, pedestrians treat each half as a separate crossing stage. Pedestrians cross signal crossings only while the steady green figure is illuminated. At pelican crossings, pedestrians begin crossing only during the steady green man phase. Puffin crossings use nearside signals. Pedestrians wait for green figure before crossing. Pedestrians should press the button once, then wait patiently for the crossing signal. Toucan crossings permit cyclists and pedestrians to cross together on the shared green signal. Pedestrians should use provided audible or tactile indicators when available for safer crossings. Horse riders should use special equestrian crossings where provided instead of standard pedestrian ones. At staggered signal crossings, pedestrians treat each carriageway as an independent crossing stage. Pedestrians cross only when authorized officials, lights, or signals clearly instruct them to proceed. Where no formal crossing exists, pedestrians should use central refuges and follow green cross code. Pedestrians must keep clear of the road when emergency vehicles approach with lights or sirens. Pedestrians should not cross immediately in front of or behind a stationary bus or tram. Pedestrians must cross tramways only at designated points, checking both directions for silent trams. Pedestrians must obey barriers, lights, and alarms at level crossings. Never cross while active warnings operate. Pedestrians must follow sign diversions when pavements are closed by roadworks and stay alert to machinery. Mobility device users must know whether their machine is Class 2 pavement or Class 3 road capable. Mobility device users follow pedestrian rules on pavements and driver rules when traveling on roads. Mobility device drivers must give way to walking pedestrians and slow near busy doorways on roads. Class 2 and Class 3 vehicles are limited to 4 miles per hour on pavements. Drive slowly around others. Mobility device users should use dropped curbs and check carefully before moving into the carriageway. Mobility device users on roads should keep visible, predictable, and aware of their slower speed. Class 3 mobility vehicles must travel with traffic flow, obeying normal road rules and speed limits. At night, Mobility device users must switch on front white and rear red lights for visibility. Mobility device users should take extra care at junctions and consider pedestrian routes if safer. Mobility vehicles must be parked considerately, never blocking pavements, crossings, or driveways. Mobility device users are banned from motorways. On high-speed duals, they must display an amber beacon. Horse-drawn vehicle operators must ensure competent control, fitting rear reflectors and proper lighting. Horse-drawn vehicles should carry a red triangular slow-moving sign on the rear where practical. Horse riders under 14 must wear a fastened, approved riding helmet. All riders strongly advised. Horse riders should wear riding boots, high-visibility clothing by day, and reflective gear at night. Horse riders should avoid riding after dark. If unavoidable, use reflective gear and carry lights. Horse riders must ensure tack fits and seek professional training before riding on public roads. Horse riders look behind, signal clearly, and ride single file on busy or narrow roads. Horse riders must not use pavements. Instead, choose bridleways, tracks, or equestrian crossings. Horse riders should avoid roundabouts. When using them, stay left and signal exits clearly. Dog owners must keep dogs on a short lead on pavements, roads, and shared pathways. Drivers must secure animals in vehicles to prevent distraction or injury during travel. Farmers moving animals along roads must use lookouts and wear reflective gear after dark. Cyclists should wear a secure, well-fitted helmet and bright clothing for daytime visibility. Cyclists at night must display a white front light, red rear light, and red rear reflector. Cyclists should use cycle lanes or tracks when they make journeys safer, though not compulsory legally. On segregated paths, cyclists must stay within the cycle side and respect pedestrian space. Cyclists should slow and give plenty of room when overtaking pedestrians on shared paths. Cyclists must not ride on footways unless officially designated as shared use or cycle tracks. Cyclists overtaking buses must never squeeze between bus and curb. Wait if space insufficient. Cyclists may ride two abreast where safer, but single file on narrow or busy roads. Cyclists must watch for hazards, keep clear of doors, and signal intentions well in advance. Cyclists must not carry passengers, tow, ride carelessly, or cycle under alcohol or drugs influence. Cyclists must obey all traffic signs, road markings, and traffic light signals as other vehicles. Cyclists should lock and park bikes so they do not obstruct pedestrians, prams, or entrances. Cyclists must stop at red lights, remaining behind the advanced stop line for cyclists if provided. Cyclists approaching junctions may take the center of lane for safety, keeping clear of curbside dangers. Cyclists should use cycle-specific facilities at junctions or behave predictably as traffic when absent. Cyclists must not undertake a left-turning vehicle. Wait behind until safe to pass. Where two-stage right-turn facilities exist, cyclists should cross to waiting box, then complete turn. Cyclists going straight ahead usually have priority over side road traffic, but remain vigilant. Cyclists may dismount and walk across busy roads when that is the safer option. Cyclists on roundabouts should ride visibly, keeping left and watching vehicles crossing their path. Cyclists turning right on roundabouts move to center, signal clearly, and proceed cautiously. Cyclists should give large or long vehicles plenty of room on roundabouts, avoiding their blind spots. Cyclists must dismount to use zebra, pelican, puffin, or equestrian crossings not designed for cycles. Cyclists may ride across toucan and cycle phase crossings only on the green cycle signal. Motorcyclists and pillions must wear an approved, fastened safety helmet at all times. Motorcyclists should use approved eye protection and protective clothing, gloves, boots, and high-vis gear. Motorcyclists may carry only one pillion passenger on a proper seat. Provisional license holders may not. Motorcyclists should use dipped headlights in daylight to make themselves more visible to others. Motorcyclists riding at night must wear reflective garments and ensure correct functioning lights. Motorcyclists filtering through traffic must check mirrors, proceed slowly, and watch for pedestrians emerging. Drivers must ensure vehicles meet construction, use, and lighting regulations before entering a road. Drivers must notify DVLA of any medical condition that may affect safe driving ability. Drivers should be well rested. Take at least a 15-minute break every 2 driving hours. Drivers must meet eyesight standards and wear corrective lenses whenever necessary for driving. Drivers dazzled by sunlight should slow down or stop until full vision is restored. Drivers should avoid wearing tinted lenses at night or in poor daytime visibility. Drivers must never drive with blood alcohol above legal limit. Even small amounts impair judgment. Drivers must not drive under the influence of illegal drugs or impairing prescription medication. Drivers must carry legal documents, adjust seat, mirrors, secure load, and fasten seatbelt before starting. Drivers towing trailers must keep within license limits, secure loads, and heed reduced speed restrictions. Drivers must wear seat belts and ensure adult passengers above 14 do likewise. Children under 14 traveling in cars must use suitable child restraints or seat belts. Seatbelt exemptions apply solely to specified medical or operational circumstances documented with evidence. Drivers must ensure that pets or loads do not obstruct their control or view while driving, or seat belts. Drivers should keep calm and patient, avoiding aggressive language, gestures, or dangerous maneuvers. Drivers must follow all traffic light and sign instructions, giving way where mandatory. Drivers should keep a safe 2-second gap behind the vehicle ahead, longer in rain. Drivers must not cut in front of heavy vehicles, which require longer stopping distances. Drivers must not park, load, or unload where waiting restrictions are in force. Drivers must obey police, traffic officers, and designated persons directing traffic. Drivers should watch for pedestrians, slow when they are present or could step into road. Drivers must give pedestrians priority at junctions and crossings they have started to cross. Drivers must not overtake vehicles stopped to let pedestrians cross at zebra crossings. Drivers must be prepared for children and elderly pedestrians moving unpredictably. Drivers should slow and prepare to stop when pedestrians signal intent to cross. Drivers must give cyclists at least 1.5 m clearance when overtaking up to 30 miles per hour speeds. Drivers must not turn across the path of cyclists or horse riders approaching from behind. Drivers should check mirrors and blind spots before opening vehicle doors to exit. Drivers must slow or stop for animals on the road and follow handlers' directions. Drivers must not scare horses with horn, revving, or close passing. Give wide, slow pass. Drivers should anticipate vulnerable motorcyclists filtering between lanes and give them space. Drivers must give motorcyclists, cyclists, and horse riders extra room on roundabouts. Drivers must not overtake where view is blocked by bends, brows, or stationary hazards. Drivers should anticipate oncoming overtakes and slow safely if needed to avoid conflict. Drivers must use seat belts properly adjusted and ensure passengers do likewise before movement. Drivers must not exceed speed limits. Consider lower speeds in adverse weather or congestion. Drivers should adapt speed to road conditions, traffic density, and their own skill level. Drivers must keep sufficient stopping distance and be able to pull up within visible distance. Drivers must not cross or straddle solid white center lines except when safe and necessary. Drivers may cross a broken white line only if the road ahead is clear. Drivers must stop at double white lines where nearest line is solid when instructed by police. Drivers must obey lane arrows and markings, changing lanes only when safe and legal. Drivers should keep to the left lane unless overtaking or turning right on dual carriageways. Drivers must not use hard shoulders except in emergency or when a red X lane closure is active. Drivers should follow the correct lane at roundabouts, signaling exits and checking blind spots. Drivers crossing mini roundabouts must drive around the central marking, not over it. Drivers should avoid blocking junctions, Keep box junctions clear unless exit is clear. Drivers must only enter bus lanes during their hours of operation if permitted by signs. Drivers should merge and turn where lanes reduce if traffic is slow, cooperating courteously. Drivers must obey red X signals on smart motorways, leaving closed lanes promptly. Drivers must not stop on a motorway carriageway except in emergencies or when told. Learner drivers may only enter motorways with an approved instructor and dual-controlled car. Drivers joining a motorway must match speed, giving way to traffic already on the carriageway. Drivers must keep left unless overtaking, middle and right lanes for overtaking only. Drivers should maintain a safe gap using the 2-second rule, extended in rain or ice. Drivers must not reverse, cross the central reservation, or drive against traffic on motorways. Motorway hard shoulders may only be used in emergency or when signs direct otherwise. Drivers must observe motorway signals and variable speed limits shown on overhead gantries. Drivers leaving a motorway should enter the deceleration lane in good time before the exit. Drivers must not pick up or set down passengers on a motorway except in emergencies. Drivers should use hazard lights to warn following traffic of sudden slowing on motorways. When a vehicle breaks down, drivers must move to a refuge area or hard shoulder and exit safely. Drivers involved in breakdowns should wear high-vis clothing and place a warning triangle if safe. Drivers must switch engine off and stand behind barriers while awaiting assistance after breakdown. Drivers must never place a warning triangle on a motorway carriageway. Drivers should not attempt repairs on the hard shoulder except simple wheel changes when safe. After breakdown, drivers involved in collisions must stop, exchange details, and notify police when necessary. Drivers should not move injured people unless necessary and must call emergency services promptly. Drivers must give details to police within 24 hours if not exchanged at the scene. Promptly. Drivers should switch off engines and evacuate immediately if a vehicle catches fire on road. Drivers must not block emergency vehicles, move aside and stop if required. Drivers approaching emergency services on hard shoulder should slow and give them space. If a tire blows, drivers must grip steering firmly, slow gradually, and pull off safely. Drivers skidding should steer gently in the direction of the skid and avoid braking sharply. Drivers aquaplaning should ease off accelerator and avoid steering or braking until control returns. Drivers whose brakes fail must pump pedal rapidly and use engine braking to slow vehicle on road. Drivers must clear all ice, snow, and mist from windows and lights before starting journey. Drivers should maintain longer stopping distances on wet, icy, or loose surfaces. Drivers encountering fog must use dipped headlights and fog lights when visibility under 100 m. Drivers should avoid harsh braking or acceleration on slippery surfaces to prevent skidding. Drivers approaching flooded roads must not enter if water is deep enough to stall vehicle. After driving through water, drivers should test brakes gently to dry them and restore performance. Drivers in high winds must hold steering firmly and give cyclists, motorcyclists extra clearance. Drivers in bright low sun should slow and use sun visors to avoid dazzling. Drivers should look out for black ice where the road surface appears wet but temperature is low. Drivers descending steep hills in snow should use low gear and brake gently. Drivers must use headlights between sunset and sunrise and when visibility seriously reduced. Drivers should dip headlights when approaching another road user to avoid dazzling them. Drivers must not use front or rear fog lights unless visibility is seriously reduced. Drivers should ensure number plates are illuminated and legible at night. Drivers must not drive with only parking lights except on lit roads under 30 miles per hour when parked. Drivers should increase following distance at night as hazards are harder to see. Drivers should avoid sudden dazzle by looking to the left verge when oncoming headlights glare. Drivers must use full beam on unlit roads when safe, dipping in good time for others. Drivers must overtake only when it is legal, safe, and no solid white line prohibits. Drivers should check mirrors, blind spots, and signal before pulling out to overtake. Drivers must not overtake on approach to pedestrian crossings or on junction approaches. Drivers overtaking cyclists must give at least 1.5 m clearance at up to 30 miles per hour speeds. Drivers must not overtake where they cannot see far enough ahead, like brows or bends. Drivers overtaking large vehicles must allow extra time and beware of spray and turbulence. Drivers must not overtake on the left unless traffic in right lane is stationary and left moving. Drivers returning to lane after overtaking must ensure a safe gap before pulling in. Drivers must not overtake near level crossings, junctions, or where road narrows significantly. Drivers approaching junctions should decelerate, observe, and prepare to stop for traffic. Drivers turning into a side road must give way to pedestrians crossing that road. Drivers emerging from a side road must not cause approaching vehicles to slow or swerve. Drivers should avoid blocking marked cycle lanes when waiting at junctions. Drivers turning right across traffic must wait in center of road when provided. Drivers should not assume a flashing indicator means a vehicle will definitely turn. Drivers must give way to traffic on the main road when emerging from an unmarked junction. Drivers must not cross or join a main road until there is a safe gap both directions. Drivers must signal intentions in good time before turning into a side road. Drivers should position correctly well before junctions to avoid last-minute lane changes. Drivers must obey yellow box junction rules, entering only if exit road is clear. Drivers may cross a solid center line into side road if safe and necessary. Drivers should give oncoming traffic priority when narrow road has obstruction on their side. Road is clear. Drivers approaching unmarked T-junction must give way to traffic from right and left. Drivers must not reverse onto a main road from a side road or driveway if avoidable. Drivers must watch for road users in bus lanes before turning across or joining them. Drivers approaching roundabouts should give way to traffic from their right already on roundabout. Drivers choosing roundabout lanes should follow destination signs and road markings early. Drivers must signal left just after the exit before the one they intend to take. Drivers must give priority to cyclists or horse riders keeping left within roundabouts. Drivers must take extra care on mini roundabouts. Traffic may come from any direction quickly. Drivers should not park on a roundabout except in designated laybys for emergencies. Drivers must not reverse longer than necessary or into a main or busy road. Drivers should check all around, including blind spots before and during reversing maneuvers. Drivers should use an assistant when reversing if view is restricted or near children. Drivers must ensure reversing lights are used to warn other road users of maneuver. Drivers should reverse slowly, steering on full lock only when vehicle is moving slowly. Drivers must not wait or park where signs prohibit, such as clearways and bus stops. Drivers should park close to the curb facing traffic flow on two-way streets. Drivers parking at night on unlit roads over 30 miles per hour must keep lights on. Drivers must not park facing against traffic flow at night except in recognized parking spaces. Drivers must not park within 10 m of a junction or blocking drive entrances. Drivers must not stop on zebra or school entrances marked zigzag lines. Drivers must display disabled blue badges correctly when using disabled parking bays. Drivers should not park on pavements where it would obstruct pedestrians or wheelchair users. Drivers must switch engine off, apply handbrake, and engage gear when leaving vehicle unattended. Drivers must not leave animals in a vehicle in a way that could cause them distress. Drivers must always check mirrors and blind spots before opening their door into traffic. Drivers transporting children must ensure they exit the vehicle on the curbside when possible. Drivers must always check mirrors and blind spots before opening their door into traffic. Drivers should use designated bays and reverse into spaces where safer visibility when leaving. Drivers must not park on cycle tracks, tram tracks, or clearways at any time. Drivers should avoid parking on bends, brows of hills, or narrow road sections. Drivers must not park opposite or within 10 m of a traffic island-controlled crossing. Drivers should use parking lights on roads with speed limit under 30 miles per hour only when necessary. Drivers must not leave a vehicle with engine running unnecessarily. It is illegal and polluting. Drivers should take care when opening doors, using the Dutch reach to protect cyclists. Drivers must secure parked vehicles and remove key before leaving children alone inside. Drivers must use headlights when visibility drops below 100 m during daytime conditions. Drivers must not use front or rear fog lights unless visibility is seriously reduced. Drivers must switch off fog lights once visibility improves to avoid dazzling others. Drivers must ensure all bulbs, indicators, and brake lights are working before traveling. Drivers should dip headlights when following another vehicle at a safe distance. Drivers must not drive with only side lights in poor visibility. Use dipped headlights instead. Drivers should keep lighting lenses clean and free of snow or dirt. Drivers must use flashing hazard lights only to warn following traffic of obstruction or hazard. Drivers must inspect lighting and reflectors daily on trailers and towed equipment. Drivers should carry spare bulbs and fuses where possible to replace failed lights promptly. Drivers must not operate dazzling off-road lamps on public roads. Drivers should ensure number plate lights are functioning to keep plates visible at night. Drivers must switch off full beam lights when faced with oncoming traffic on narrow roads. Drivers should maintain headlight alignment to avoid dazzling other road users. Drivers may use passing lights to signal presence on rural single-track bends if necessary. Drivers must not use flashing headlights to intimidate other road users or assert right-of-way. Drivers should use courtesy signals, such as hazard flash, to thank others only briefly. Drivers must never stop on carriageway to flash lights at oncoming traffic regarding speed traps. Drivers should periodically inspect dashboard warning lights and act on faults immediately. Drivers must comply with nighttime vehicle weight restrictions through residential areas. Drivers driving slow-moving vehicles at night must display rear red reflective marking plates. Drivers must obey temporary speed limits, cones, traffic lights, and workers' signals at roadworks. Drivers should keep a safe distance from works vehicles and workers on carriageway. Drivers must use indicated lanes early. Do not switch last minute near lane closures. Drivers should watch for uneven surfaces and loose chippings when passing through roadworks. Drivers must not enter closed lanes marked with a red X on smart motorway roadworks. Drivers should obey convoy vehicles controlling speed through works until signaled otherwise. Drivers should be prepared for sharp braking of vehicles ahead in roadworks queues. Drivers must respect workers by avoiding excessive speeds and providing room when passing. Drivers approaching level crossings must obey warning lights, barriers, and bells immediately. Drivers must never zigzag around stationary lowered barriers at level crossings. Drivers must stop behind the white line at a level crossing when red lights flash. Drivers whose vehicle stalls on a crossing must evacuate and call the emergency number displayed. Drivers should not enter a level crossing unless their exit road is clear. Drivers should check both directions on open crossings without barriers before proceeding. Drivers must not stop on a level crossing even in slow traffic queues. Drivers of large or slow vehicles must contact the crossing operator before proceeding if instructed. Drivers approaching tram crossings must look for silent trams and obey tram signals. Drivers should avoid braking sharply on tram tracks as surface may be slippery. Drivers must not park vehicles within tram track areas marked by white lines. Drivers should check mirrors for trams before changing lane near tram lines. Drivers must give priority to trams where tram signals or signs indicate. Drivers must not overtake moving trams on the inside except at stops with protective islands. Drivers should beware of passengers alighting from trams and give them priority. Drivers must not enter box junctions signaled at tram crossings unless exit is clear. Drivers should slow near railway bridges signed with risk of debris or low headroom. Drivers of high vehicles must know their height and watch for low bridge warning signs. Drivers must obey height restriction signs and never ignore red flashing bridge warnings. Drivers should consider alternative routes if their vehicle exceeds clearances shown on bridge signs. Drivers must not reverse onto a level crossing or back out if lights activate unexpectedly. Drivers approaching open level crossings in poor visibility should stop, look, and listen carefully. Drivers must secure loads so they cannot shift, spill, or obscure lights and plates. Drivers towing must ensure drawbars, safety chains, and electrical connections are correctly fitted. Drivers must not exceed the towing vehicle's stated towing weight or trailer speed limits. Drivers should distribute trailer load evenly and keep nose weight within limits. Drivers must fit extension mirrors when trailer obscures standard vehicle mirrors. Drivers should check coupling, lights, and brakes of trailer before every journey. Standard vehicle mirrors. Speed limits. Drivers towing caravans should use stabilizers if required and allow extra stopping distance. Drivers must display rear number plate matching towing vehicle on trailers and caravans. Drivers towing must use lower gears on long descents to avoid brake overheating. Drivers towing must not exceed 50 miles per hour on single carriageways or 60 miles per hour on motorways. Drivers should carry emergency equipment such as warning triangle, high-vis vest, and first aid kit. Drivers should keep essential medication and water accessible when undertaking long journeys. High-vis vest and first aid kit. Drivers must not use handheld mobile phones, only hands-free, while driving except emergencies. Drivers should pre-program sat-nav before departure, not while driving. Drivers involved in collisions must assist injured, protect scene, and call emergency services promptly. Drivers must provide name, address, vehicle, and insurance details after a collision. Drivers must report any collision causing injury or damage to police within 24 hours. Drivers should cooperate with insurance investigations and retain evidence like photographs and witness details.